Bengali nationalism. Bengali nationalism rises through movement. There had no general elections till 1970 since the birth of Pakistan in 1947. So there was no chance where Bengali nationalism could be reflected. In this pretext, the West Pakistani junta started exploiting the Bengali nation economically and culturally to suppress us from the very beginning. The democracy-loving people chose the Awami League-led United Front to win the 1954 provincial election for a landslide victory. But the Pakistani autocratic ruler cancelled the results of the election, thus enduring miserable discrimination and repression by the West Pakistani. The Bengali nation realized their rights and stood against the Pakistani oppression. That is why the mass people picked the 6-point program by Bangabandhu as their cause for freedom. This 6-point demand became an alternative ballot to reply to exploitation and repression by the Pakistani junta, and it was reflected in the first general election of Pakistan in 1970. With the vote symbol, Awami League backed 167 of 169 seats in the National Assembly and 288 of 300 seats in the Provincial Assembly. The elections officially made Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman the supreme leader of the Bengali nation. Before the elections, Bangabandhu, among other pledges, promised people to formulate the constitution based on his 6 points and a social revolution through the democratic process. So, after winning the elections, he took the initiatives to lead the country towards democratization. Bangabandhu used to value public opinions and democracy throughout his life. While in prison in 1949, he became the founding Joint General Secretary of the Awami League. But he was elected General Secretary of the party in the Awami League Council on July 9, 1953. Later, he served as the party's General Secretary till 1966 and President till 1974, and he held council regularly to elect the party leadership. In an interview with the BBC during his Britain visit after his release from the Agartala conspiracy case in 1969, Bangabandhu clarified his stance about democracy, saying, "I believe in democracy. I am willing to accept the opinions of the majority. I have no personal power. Whom do I represent? I cannot claim myself as leader till I have legal and moral right to say, I am representative of the people." His stance was clarified further after the 1970 election, through which he led the independence of the nation. Despite being the supreme leader and torchbearer of the nation, Bangabandhu did not backtrack from practicing democracy. He introduced the constitution within 1 year of independence in 1972 and arranged a general election in 1973. Later, to find a headway from anarchy and chaotic situation, Bangabandhu in a democratic way changed the government system after amending the constitution and approval from the National Parliament in 1975. Later, he teamed up all the recognized political parties as one national party named Bakshal, Bangladesh Krishak Shromik Awami League. Bangabandhu took steps to decentralize the power through Bakshal by distributing the charge of the governor to the elected and civil society representatives in every district. For this purpose, he involved people from all classes and professions in every governor council. It was a brave and legendary move to bring the fruits of independence to every door of people and establish a democracy for the destitute people. Bengali nationalism. Evolution of Bengali nationalism and birth of Bangladesh. After Pakistan was created, racial and cultural oppression began on Bengali people in name of religion. Student movements began to spark in the late 50s in protest, where mass people including peasants and workers joined actively in the 70s. Bengali nationalism is the new indomitable spirit of having a free land for an exploitation-free life centering Bangabandhu. It started with the language movement and reached its destination through the independence and birth of Bangladesh. Young leader Sheikh Mujibur Rahman founded the uniform identity of Bengali people through waging language movement. This nationalism finally led to establishing a separate nation state. The language movement showed the roots of nationalism among the Bengali nation, which became a national movement joined by people of all religions and races. As a result, the provincial election of 1954 saw a huge collapse of the Muslim League, bagging only 9 out of 237 seats in West Bengal. The rest of the seats went to the bag of Awami League-led United Front with the boat symbol. Bangabandhu became the center of the Awami League and all-national movement after the death of Hussain Shahid Sohrawardi in 1963. In early 1966, Bangabandhu announced the historic 6 points known as the Charter of Freedom for the Bengali nation. Hinting to independence, he later said, "There is only one demand basically, but I just turn around this demand." During this period, Bangabandhu became the president. He started running door to door to dump up support for the 6-point program. Fearing the popularity of Sheikh Mujib, the Pakistani junta again put him in prison, but the seeds of national liberty he showed were already spread out in the hearts of every people. In early 1968, Bangabandhu was indicted in the Agartala conspiracy case as State versus Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and others. At this, the Bengali nation, imbued with the spirit of nationalism, got furious and waged massive protests across the country. Thus, the names Mujib and Bangladesh were parallel to each other for the Bengali nation. The Pakistani junta had to release Sheikh Mujib amid the mass upsurge in 1969. Later, he was honored with the Bangabandhu title at a massive rally at Sohrawardi Udyan in Dhaka. Awami League won a landslide victory in the 1970 general election. The 7 crores Bengali gave their supreme leader Bangabandhu all-out support in the ballot to form an independent Bangladesh state. Since then, the Joy Bangla slogan was taken by storm all over the country. Bangabandhu took control of all government and non-government offices in Bangladesh till the war erupted at midnight on March 25, 1971. National flags were hoisted in every house. 7 crore people, irrespective of religions and races, started pressing a uniform demand for independence, articulated by Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Bangabandhu managed to bring the whole nation under one platform due to his selfless love for people and deep patriotism. That is why he was able to successfully develop Bengali nationalism in the 2000-year-long histories of the nation, which gave birth to independent Bangladesh finally. Democracy, the socialism of Bangladesh in the democracy of exploited. Socialism is one of the 4 basic pillars on which the Bangladesh state is standing. Bangabandhu redefined the socialism of Bangladesh in terms of social-economic structure. Bangabandhu stepped towards a new social system to relieve the ordinary people who were discriminated against from any sorts of exploitations. Bangabandhu got such a philosophy to govern the state from his long experiences working with exploited people. The initiatives Bangabandhu took to start a new economic system for making public-friendly and welfare democracy is our socialism. Don't worry, your lands will be yours, farmers and laborers will work, and the government will give you all agricultural equipment and support. Regarding the socialistic economy, Bangabandhu, the worst deprived person in the rural area must get maximum privileges. It will generate a new strong agriculture-based economic structure for the new generation. And based on this structure, Bangladesh will rise as a powerful industrial state in the world. Secularism. Secularism, one of the key pillars of Bangladesh. Secularism is not the same as atheism, rather it is a peaceful coexistence of people of all religion. That is why father of the nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman gave secularism top priority. Though the party started its journey as Awami Muslim League, the word Muslim was omitted during the Council of 1955 to promote non-communalism. From the 1950 language movement to the 1971 Liberation War, Bangabandhu observed that Bengali people are ready to sacrifice anything for language and culture, not for religion. To sustain the spirit of non-communalism, Bangabandhu announced secularism as one of the basic principles of the Bangladesh Constitution in 1972. While explaining secularism on November 4, 1972, Bangabandhu said, "Secularism is not atheism. The Muslims, the Hindus, the Buddhists, and the Christians will perform their respective religions. Nobody can interrupt one another. We object that nobody can use religion as their political tool." He got the learnings of peaceful coexistence and fight for the rights of all people irrespective of religions and races from his teenage. He did not take too much time to understand that the Bengali people being exploited and repressed by West Pakistan did not want religion-based politics. Rather, they wanted to be controller of their fate with their language, culture, and tradition. Based on this non-communal spirit, he united the whole nation against those vultures who were masked with their religion, and thus, on his call, we achieved our independence. Bangladesh has been standing as a non-communal country in the world as the father of nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman showed the way.